to the VickyCharles.com podcast. My name, unsurprisingly, is Vicky Charles, and this week's podcast, episode number 41, is 5 ways to improve your social media accounts for the new year. So let's get going. So welcome back to episode number 41 of the VickyCharles.com podcast. My name is Vicky Charles. You can find the show notes for this and all previous podcasts at vickycharles.com/podcast. And this week's podcast, episode number 41, is 5 ways to improve your social media accounts for the new year. Now, at this time of year, we all start to think about how we've done this year, you know, what we're going to change next year. Are we going to set some New Year's resolutions? I don't know about you, but I'm kind of sitting here going, yeah, this time next year I'm going to be like size 8 and I'm going to be like super efficient in my business and we all kind of set these goals for ourselves, or these ambitions, and these are 5 concrete things that you can do to make sure that you definitely do improve your social media for 2016. So the first thing you can do is change your cover and profile photos, or at least have a look at them. And I don't just mean go on Facebook and go, yeah, that's a good picture, and leave it. I mean kind of think about branding and being consistent. So use the same photo or the same series of photos. If you've had a set of photos taken by a photographer, for example, where you're wearing the same outfit in every shot, use the same series of photos for every single picture, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever, so that people can definitely tell who it is when they're looking for you. For example, my name, Vicky Charles, there might be 50 Vicky Charleses in the world, but I would hope, well, probably more than 50 to be honest, I would hope that when people look for me, they can see the picture and it's the same picture they've seen on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever else. They know it's definitely me. It's also the picture I use on my website. You can use Canva as a template. I hate when you see profile like cover photos on Facebook and Twitter, and they've just sort of been bunged up there. I think it's easy to just kind of shove a picture up there and think you'll worry about it later. Canva and Facebook actually do templates for you, so you can you've definitely got the right size. You can put your picture into that template and maybe put something next to it, put some writing over it, whatever you want. Make it kind of look more professional, like you meant to do it, and not like you just found a funny picture and put it up there. Also, it's really important to have a headshot or a clear picture so people can definitely tell who you are. They can see your face, so that if you're at events and things, people can recognise you by it, things like that. Use a clear picture. Remember that people connect with people, not logos. I know a lot of people use logos, especially on LinkedIn. I think that on LinkedIn especially you should have a picture of your face, but generally on all of them that you can use your logo in your header, to, you know, over the top there, but in your actual profile picture I think you need your face so that people can tell it's you that's talking to them. I will in the show notes for this show I will include the sizes that you need for the various different social medias for your profile pictures, but I'm fairly sure Canva has templates for headers or whatever you call them for each social media, and so you should reuse those, I think, to get just a more professional picture really. The second thing you can do to improve your social media for the new year is remember that consistency is key. So I've already mentioned in option 1 about using branding, thinking about branding with your pictures and having consistent pictures for each one. But remember also your names should be consistent. So for a long time on Twitter I was at Bubbles3563. What does that have to do with Single Mother Ahoy or with Vicky Charles? It took me a long time to change it because I thought, I shouldn't change it. But actually, once you change it, and then I became Single M Ahoy on Twitter and on Instagram, it's easier for people to find you, and it's easier for them to take a guess if they can't find you there, or if they don't say if they're not following you on Instagram. The first thing they'll do is assume that your Instagram name is the same as your Twitter name, and if it's not, or the name that you've got has nothing to do with the blog or business you're promoting, it just gets really confusing, and it's just another thing for people to remember. And they're likely to do that thing where they go, I think she's that one that has the thing, and I don't know, I'll ask somebody else about it. And they'll go to somebody else rather than try and remember what your social media name is. The third thing you can do to improve your social media accounts is edit your bio. When's the last time you actually went in and looked at your bio? Not just like the little 160 character thing that you get at the top of Twitter, but your Facebook, your LinkedIn. Oh my goodness, I looked at my LinkedIn the other day and it was so out of date. I hadn't updated it for ages, so it had been really relevant when I first started off my business, but it had nothing about loads of the things I've done since, and I had to try and remember them all. But also Facebook. Now, how long ago did you set up your Facebook page? Have you checked the bio since? Facebook have added a lot of fields, and a lot of them, for a lot of people, myself included until recently, are empty. I've still not filled in all of mine because I've kind of, I don't think I need to fill all of them in. They've all got kind of bits and bobs, but fill in as much as you can, because everything's going to help for people to build up a picture of who you are, what you do, how you can help them, or why they should be interested in what you have to say. Provide as much information as possible, and use your links wisely as well. Where they give you an option to add a link, use it wisely. With Facebook, that doesn't matter so much, just have a link to your website. With Twitter, probably the same. With Instagram, that one link that they give you on your bio is the only link that you get, so make the most of it. Link to mine links, I think at the moment, to my sign up page. You can link your Instagram to whatever you want and just go in and rotate your links around. So if you're that way inclined, you can have like whatever your daily blog post is, go and change the link. Or if you're promoting something, change the link to that. If you're doing something different, change the link to that. One person I was listening to the other day, advocates having the link on your Twitter profile go to a dedicated Twitter page on your website where you say, oh, hi, thanks for coming to find me from Twitter, blah, blah, blah. That looks really like you know what you're doing, you're super professional, and you are on the ball. I'm considering doing it myself, just haven't got around to it yet, but it's definitely one to try. The fourth thing you can do to improve your social media profiles is to interlink between them. You can link on Facebook, it allows you to add links. So make sure basically that if I am on your Facebook page, I can find your Twitter, I can find you on LinkedIn, I can find your Pinterest, I can find this, that and the other all over the place. And you can kind of, so that people can find you really easily. That's what you kind of need to be working towards. And also on anything new that you set up, make sure that your website has your social media profiles, but make sure that everywhere that is possible, your email signature everywhere, make sure that they've all got your social media profiles and links, not just on here my name is, wherever you can put a link so that people can come and find you. The fifth and final thing that you can do to improve your social media presence is listen. Now this is a really obvious one, but it's one that we tend to forget. I know I am guilty of forgetting this one especially. But one great quote that I heard from one guy that I was talking to said you need to be interested and interesting. So as well as kind of putting your links out there and kind of broadcasting, social media is very much a two-way street, and you need to see what other people are saying. Quite often if you kind of just spend half an hour looking through your Twitter feed, you'll find lots of people to chat to, lots of people to engage to, lots of interesting articles, lots of interesting things going on. You'll also probably find topics for blog posts, topics for podcasts, all things like that. If your Twitter feed moves really quickly, then just kind of every day pick a different person, go and look at their profile, see what they're up to, see what they're doing, chat to them, engage with them, ask how they are, ask how this was, how that was. Kind of make yourself so that you're listening more really to not just to one person but to everybody, which can be really tricky, and it can be really confusing sometimes. But just kind of the more you do it, the easier it gets. I am a member of a WhatsApp group that has 100 members, and that can get really confusing, but if you stick with it you learn an awful lot, and I've learned an awful lot through it. So just the whole idea of just listening rather than just talking, which I think is the same really when you're networking as well. They always say when you're networking, don't kind of talk about yourself at all, always ask questions of the other people, and that is how you learn more, and how people tend to like you as well. If you don't talk much about yourself but you're very interested in what they have to say, people will like that, they respond to that, because otherwise it feels like you're just taking it in turns to kind of wait for a gap in the conversation and then spout whatever it was you were going to say, which is never a good thing, either in person or on social media. So those are my 5 things you can do to improve your social media for the new year. I'd love to know if you've tried any of these, if you found them useful at all, or if you have any other suggestions. I'd love to hear about them. The show notes for this and all previous podcasts can be found at vickycharles.com/podcast. You can find me at facebook.com/VickyCharlesWriter, and on Twitter and Instagram I am at VickyCWrites. My personal blog is singlemother.ahoy.com. You can find me on Facebook, I'm Single Mother Ahoy, and on Twitter and Instagram I'm at SingleMAhoy. You can download this podcast from Podcast Addict, Stitcher Radio or Spreaker, or there are links to it on both of my Facebook pages and, of course, vickycharles.com/podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back next week.